Right, welcome to this review for Warhammer 40,000 8th edition, the rulebook. This is the book that you get with a starter set, Dark Imperium, that Games Workshop have produced. So you get that set. It comes with 2 armies, rules and counters and so on, and then inside you get a full rulebook here. And it's not just the used to sort of a small set back with 7th edition, but in this set that they've done, they give you the hardback version here, and it's a big book as well, so very good value in that set. But in this video I'm going to focus in, take a look through this 8th edition rulebook here. It's not opened yet, so first impressions mostly in this video. So you can get it from Games Workshop, or you can get it from one of the discounted stores. I use gamingfigures.com. They do Games Workshop at a reduced rate, as well as other gaming systems as well. It's 15% off, and then if your order comes to over £100, which this set almost does, then you get an extra 5% off on top of that. I believe they offer free postage in the UK as well if your order comes to over £40, which this would qualify for, and there may be some other deals and so on. You can check them out at gamingfigures.com. So I'm going to open this up here. And again, was tempted to look through this before I did the video, but I'm just going to go for first impressions here. Now, when the index books become available, I plan to do like codex reviews for them. There'll be more rules discussion inside those, as well as different rules come up for the different factions. But we'll cover some rules in here. But this will just be a review of the actual product itself. What to expect inside. It's very, very nice. It really is nice. So they've gone for, if you can see so this process that they've used is called Spot UV and Matte Laminate. So they print it on the paper and back it on card, and then the paper itself is given a coat of a matte laminate to finish it off, and then some of the graphics they pick out with a UV gloss finish all the way running around here. So it just creates a very, very nice quality effect. Adds a bit of durability to the cover as well. Here's the back from the Primaris Space Marines, and then Gilliman there. Everything revolves around him at the moment. There's his Primaris Marines, and then they're fighting there against the Death Guard. So there it is. How many pages are we looking at here? 280. That's the last page number there, so it's a big book. Inside cover, sort of a mural here. There's a Reaver Titan fighting, Primaris Space Marines fighting Death Guard, but on a big scale. Chaos Reaver Titan just there. Nice colour palette. They've gone for this opposites here, the clean cutness to a certain degree of the Space Marines, Primaris Marines, and then Death Guard, just there on the right. So, introduction here. Nice piece of artwork. So, just infestation here of Death Guard and all of the putrefying, filthy things all over the place. And then the Space Marines are trying to cleanse the area. There's those drones, bot drones flying around. See Thunderhawk gunships in the background. So an epic fight taking place. Interesting chapter down here. It's not Ultramarines, it's sort of split between white and blue. Just there. More new artwork here. So Primaris Space Marines for Black Templars fighting here against Chaos Demons, Bloodletters. Yeah, another piece of artwork here. So again, really immersing in the fluff here. So really cool. So you've got that clean, crisp effect of these, and then as opposed to this rusty, botched, putrefying. Look at that. Some nice artwork here, nice effects painted on. Contents, and then you're immediately introduced to this massive battle taking place here. I've not seen this terrain set up before. Looks nice, but a big Death Guard army here, and then facing off against a large Ultramarines army. Again, collecting Citadel miniatures, so talking about the hobby here. Death Guard again, nicely done. Ultramarines, Blood Angels. Here, just some little interesting things. Terminators here, painted up. These look like the Space Hulk Terminators with white helmets and a red stripe running down the middle. Those look really nice. Okay. Some people have been saying about been doing Space Hulk battle reports on the Plus channel. People have been saying, why don't you base them up and have them those Blood Angels Terminators in your regular Blood Angels force? Tempting to do that. And then there's a set of Gene Stealer Colts here, an army of them on display. Building and painting, so that people who are new to the hobby have to help them out just with the basic information that they need. Warhammer 40,000 gaming. That's the three types of play that have been talked about. Open play, just use whatever you want. Narrative play, so it's based on more of a storyline, and then matched play. If you're going to go tight for points, an exact fair matchup, then that's what they're doing there. Nice Imperial Fist style Imperial Knight there, just in that game that's going on, just at Warhammer World. Dark Millennium, this will be the story here, the Imperium of Man. The hierarchy, the whole structure of it. So I have to explain that first, and then the other factions sort of come in later. More on the hierarchy here as well. And again, it's still helpful stuff. If you're doing narrative play or themed campaigns and so on, you can use this information. It gives you your background story and so on as well. Empire Lost Among the Stars. Cool. This is yeah, these aren't Ultramarines. This is a chapter. They're part of the same founding, but they're not actually Ultramarines. Got different shoulder pads here. Mankind in the Immaterium. The Worlds of the Imperium. Talks about some of the different planets. Again, nice background story for you. In the Depths of Space. So we'll talk about Space Hulks and so on. The Ecclesiarchy. So loads and loads of information in. A Deadly Evolution. The Ages of Mankind. This is your history of 40k history. The Age of Darkness. Age of the Imperium. Hope Rekindled. This is your Gilliman here. Fantastic piece of artwork. Very, very nice. So they've moved the story on. A lot of people worried that they would go like Age of Sigmar and sort of get rid of a load of stuff and completely change the rules so it was unrecognisable. They've changed things more than I thought they would. This 8th edition here really is a massive refresh of pretty much every aspect of the 40k rules. It is different to 7th. It's not just a case of a few new rules to pick up and then you just carry on playing. They've changed it so much. They've had all the codexes are redundant now. They've released these index books just to bring all the factions up to the rules here, but just one change after another. Some massive changes as well. Some changes in the mechanics of the game and some pretty big ways also. But they haven't gone to the extent of, it's still recognisable, a lot of it there as regular 40Ks, so it's not too bad, I don't think. But definitely a big refresh is what they've gone for here with 40k, so it is a big change. Yeah, 6th to 7th wasn't too much of a leap at all, but 7th to 8th is a big change. Dark Imperium. Yeah, loads of information. That's the old artwork there from 6th edition, I think. Very atmospheric piece just there. The Armies of the Imperium, so now they start to introduce the armies here. Scutari, Imperial Knights, Radmech, Grey Knights, Astra Militarum, Space Marines. So Adeptus Astartes here, another new piece of artwork here and here. Here's the new weaponry. The bolt rifle, which I think is a beautiful weapon, looks really, really nice. Really, really nice. The assault bolter, which is cool, and then the plasma incinerator. Nice. There's your bookmark here, you get a nice sort of tab there to use. 1000 chapters. Here, Imperial Fists, all the usuals here. Blades of Vengeance, Knights of the Chalice, Crimson Fists, Rift Stalkers. Yeah, they are the Terminators. That's the ones in that artwork from earlier on. Ultramarines covered here. Then information on the Blood Angels. Fantastic quality, and again, they haven't rushed this. This has been very, very nicely put together. Blood Angels, how they've been affected by the Blood Rage. Dark Angels here, with their Deathwing, Ravenwing. Space Wolves, talking about the Wolfen. Grey Knights, Death Watch. Astromil, Taran, Humble Lasgun. Lasgun. There's your regiments, which I wish they would redo these in plastic. It'd be amazing, especially in the way Caddy has been affected. It just throws the storyline open to start reintroducing these different Imperial regiments. And I ask, every time I talk to Imperial Guard players, I say to them, you know, you've got the regular Cadians. If Games Workshop did these, would you then collect another regiment? And all of them have said yes. And they've said the different ones that they like. I like Mordenine Guard, really, really nice. Ice Warriors of Valhalla, really nice, very strong theme for them. Talon Desert Raiders would collect them in a heartbeat if Games Workshop redid them as well. And even Death Corps of Krieg look really cool as well. But those three, Mordenine Guard, Talon Desert Raiders, Valhallans, would look amazing. And I think they could do it. You'd maybe have an upgrade sprue for the tanks, maybe not even need to do that. And then you just have your infantry squad, heavy weapons squad, and your HQ squad. So 3 plastic sets, and then you're fixed there to do your regiments. And then maybe a unique unit, some elite unit there for the Mordenine Guard maybe, just to give them something special. Adeptus Mechanicus here. So Mars, different ones there. So you talk about your Skitari and the Legio Cybernetica. There. Questa Imperialis, Imperial Knights. Really good. Imperial Agents covered here. Oh, the artworks, this is incredible. Really, really nice. A lot of effort's gone into this. Imperium at War. Ah, right, so here are Primaris Space Marines painted up. They've actually done them painted up for different factions. So they are for the Imperial Fists. They look okay. They look alright here for the Salamanders. And then here is the Raven Guard. They look quite smart for them. So pretty good. Here's your Imperial Knights. Grey Knights here. Fighting against the demons. Belisarius Call just there. Tempestus Scions. Looking good. There's the droves of guardsmen just there. They're introducing all their new models here. Sisters of Silence. You've got the Adeptus Custodes just here. Death Watch. There's the new models as well. Sisters of Battle. It's a real showcase for all the new stuff. It's all linked together now. All these fragmented bits that came out. Different books all over the place. It's all in here. All in order. All organised and sorted out. All nicely harmonised and linked in. Forces of Chaos then. It's natural progression here. Khorne, Tzeentch, Nurgle and Slaanesh. It's a background story for them. Heretic Astartes, Black Legion, Death Guard, 1000 Suns, with all the new models they've done for them, really nice. And you've got Renegades. Interesting way they've broken Chaos up here in the book. Chaos Unbound. See, their other Chaos models look really nice. These look cool and they match in perfectly with all the new releases. Dragon and so on, no, it all looks good. So complete refresh for them. Yeah, so Death Guard with the other existing units all linking nicely. So complete refresh for them. That's the 1000 Suns. There with Magnus the Red. Khorne, Forces of Khorne. Yeah. Massive showcase, a real showcase here of painted up miniatures. incredible. Black Legion, regular Chaos Space Marines desperately need to be redone. Here, still think they need to be redone. Emperor's Children desperately need to be redone as well, for sure. Night Lords here, Word Bearers. Yeah. Okay, the Xenos threat. So the other factions as well. I'll be interested in this because I've got a variety of Xenos factions here. So the Eldari here, or the Eldar. It's the Craft Worlds. Craft World Eldari. Kept all these here as well. The Drukhari, or Dark Eldar. Witch Cults, Smuggler's Covens, Kobolds. Okay. Harlequins, which is an army I've been working on. Painted up some of the models for it, and then 8th edition's hit. So I'm sort of focusing in on this army here. Be very interested to see how good they are in the new edition. As for other armies, people have been asking, what's the plans of all the other armies you've got set up? The armies that I've done are based on models that I like and sort of themes that I like. So for a lot of them, I'm going to try and keep them generally as much as I can the way they are, the way I like them. So armies like Imperial Fists and Blood Angels and Tau and so on. But there will be some changes. For points, might have forced me to trim the army down if the points are too much with the existing army, or they might spare up some points. And there's that question as well as to what the new point size is popular is going to be for 40k battles, whether 2,000 points is going to be the new option or not, whether we'll stick to 1850, but we're not entirely sure about that. We'll see how it goes. But if I do expand the army out, then obviously there's room perhaps for another unit, and just to make adjustments to each of the forces, but try and just revamp each army, not to panic too much, really just try and adjust them and bring them into line with 8th edition. But Harlequins is an army I've barely started. I've done some models for it, so there's a scope there to make some real changes if we need to, but it's all a lot of unknowns at the moment, just to see how the new rules are and then how it affects all the different units and how all their special rules are as well. You've got Ynnari here as well. Necrons, brilliant piece of artwork here. Yeah, it's the artwork that got me into Warhammer 40,000 actually. It was the inspirational artwork, and then that got you into the whole storyline, and then started collecting the miniatures from there, and they've kept to that here. They've really gone into the background story. Here, so Dynasties. Here's the Orcs, which people are saying should be better now in 8th edition, which I've flicking through the rules for them, it seems to be that they will be pretty good. It's a famous piece of artwork there. That's the inspiration behind my Orc army that I put together. Weapons of War. The Orcs 40k wouldn't be the same without them. And you've got the Tau as well. Commander Pinpoint on the channel. There's information on them. Tyranids, again, 40k wouldn't be the same without the Tyranids. Famous piece of artwork from them. Gene Stealer Cults, of course, yes, they've added these in as well. Just here. So the Alien Menace. Just a showcase here of the Eldar models. So we are about halfway through the book here, and you can see it is just a catalogue of all their models. So you could, you have your rule book here, but you literally have a catalogue as well that you can flick through and then look at all the models, and you can, visually choose which ones you like as well. It's Harlequins here. There's the Necrons. Very strong colour scheme for them. Just there's the Tau. So hordes and hordes of Tyranids here. There's the Orcs. Stomper. So they've just crammed in loads and loads of artwork. They're not killing space here at all. There's everything's crammed in. Eternity of War. So there's more storyline here. Warzone Ultramar. Ultramar invaded. Kradge. A piece of artwork. Forces of the Imperium. Right, so this is their organisation here as well. Fall of Cadia. Armies of the Imperial Forces of Chaos. Yeah, so if you're trying to do a themed army and you want it based on a certain army and a certain company, then you can look that up here as well. Famous piece of artwork there. Right, it's different. Okay, right, it's different war zones here, and what factions are fighting in these war zones, and what their composition is as well. It's all covered. Names of planets, moons, and systems as well. So yeah, loads of background information here for you to put your narrative games together. Craftworld, the Enden, Armageddon, War in the Rift. There is only war. There's the Howling Griffins. Nice colour scheme for them, and a nice contrast when they're lined up against the purple and pinks of the Gene Stealer Colts. Those two colour schemes clash really nice. Do look really nice. So then you're on to playing the game. This takes you up to page 170. So that means 100 pages left of rules. Sort of, yeah, not, yeah, so yeah, 100 pages of rules here. So playing the game, and what they've gone for here is core rules, the main rules you need to play, and then advanced rules. I thought they might do this. A lot of games coming out do this. They have you know, an open and play the game quickly set of rules, and then advanced rules later as you get into it. So that's what they've gone for here. I think it's wise to do that. And again, they're thinking of people who are coming into the system who are fresh to it, and so they're trying to give you the basic rules that you can get grasp and focus on. You can add in all your advanced rules later on. So nice. Open play is just anyone can play, no problem at all. With no points or anything, you just pull your armies together, whatever size they are, and just have a game. And again, it's brilliant for people getting into the hobby. Narrative play is based around the stories embedded in the background, either those in our books or those you write yourself. You'll often find that reading up on the history of a particular faction, hero, or battle is all the inspiration you need to set up the game. So that's just there. Here's your battle forged armies, giving you page numbers as well so you can turn them quickly. And then matched play. As the name would suggest, tabletop war games are just that, games to be enjoyed by all players involved. For some, this enjoyment is derived from assembling battle-forged armies they believe provide the optimal combination of units, and then pitting these armies against one another in a balanced contests of strategy and skill. Right, so that's your points, which is what we're used to. Okay. So narrative play is more like the campaigns that we do on the Plus channel, which it's matched up for points to make it fair, but there's sort of a strong narrative running behind that. And then matched play here is just getting your points exactly right, so you know that the armies are fair as you go into battle. But that's the three styles that they've gone for, which is totally fine. Right, then talking about the new data sheets here, just giving the overview for all of that. So you're wondering, how do I learn to play Warhammer 40,000 8th edition? You could try and read the rulebook. It's very, very difficult to learn that way. It's just lots of words, very hard to get your brain around the mechanics of the way it works. The best way to learn how to play Warhammer 40,000 is just to play a small game with someone, and preferably with someone who knows the rules, and then you just play a small game and then you'll pick it up after one game, the basics, pretty quick. It'll take you ages just to read. It's very boring as well, trying to read through a whole book. And then as you've got the basics of the rules, you'll then be familiar with moving around the rule book. You sort of know what things mean for the basics, and then you can just use the rule book as your reference to check rules to make sure you're getting it right. You can cover a small section, look up certain particular rules from the rule book that way, but don't highly advise that you don't just start reading the rule book to try and learn how to play, especially if you're new to Warhammer 40,000. The best way for sure is to play a game. And if you're still maybe a bit nervous, you can ask to watch a game and watch two people play, and then sort of ask questions if you're able to. You know, what's going on here, how does that work, and then you can learn that way. But the best way is definitely to play a small game. And don't think you need to have a massive battle. Remember, when James and I were getting back into Warhammer 40,000, we had a Space Marine tactical squad versus a Tau Fire Warrior squad, and we just rolled up dice and played that. Practice the shooting and the morale, combat, and then we picked up. If you get that bit right, then you've mastered a good chunk of the game. And that's just the best way to start. We really enjoyed it, and then we built up our Space Marines and Tower collection from there, and then just expanded out from that. So start small, and then actually try and play the game is the best advice that I can give. So that's that. Just giving you all the information you need. Your data sheets. For those who are regular into 40k, you pretty much common sense what all that means. So core rules then. This is the phases. Movement phase, psychic phase, shooting phase, charge phase, fight phase, and morale. So not much change there to regular 40k to 7th. Just here morale, it seems to be all at the end. I think it used to be for 7th it was in any phase. If you needed to do morale checks, that could have been the shooting phase, could have been in the close combat phase, but for now they've moved it to the end, to phase 6. So then you've got movement. Just talk about minimal movement there, falling back. Reinforcements. Okay. Sometimes we use teleports to grab shoots. This is talking about those that can come on from reserve. Typically this happens at the end of the movement phase, but it can also happen during the other phases. Units set up in this manner cannot move or advance further during the turn they arrive. Their entire movement phase is used in deploying on the battlefield, but they can otherwise act normally. Okay, so that's reinforcements there. So you've got psychic phase. Right, so they've gone for basic rules here. This is your core rules here. Covered. Nicely laid out. There's your wound rolls. Yeah, this is all changed now. You used to have a chart that was, you compared your strength to the opponent's toughness, and you looked it up to get the wound you needed. Here it's just a simple chart now. If it's twice or more than the toughness, it's 2+. If it's greater than toughness, it's just 3+. So if your strength 5, toughness 4, it's going to be a 3+. Okay, yeah. If it's equal, it's 4s. If it's lower, it's 5s. It's like a las gun. Strength 3 trying to wound a Space Marine is 5+ now, which is what it used to be anyway. And if it's half or less, then it's 6+. So there's no cut-off point here. Yeah, there's no cut-off point. So it means something at strength 2 can wound something at toughness 10, theoretically, which I don't. This is one of the areas. This is one of the areas I'm not so sure about. I thought that they should have made a cut-off point of where there's certain strengths that can't wound certain toughnesses. Otherwise, you can move into an area if it becomes not very realistic. Yeah, so you have. I wish there was that cut-off point there. Maybe it'll work out all right in the rules, but you can have situations where, you know, I'm going to fire my las guns at. Now vehicles have toughness values. You can be able to fire them at things like a Land Raider, and you actually have a chance of doing some damage. And just, I don't think that's going to be realistic. You can have situations where if you have that cut-off point, then it means that certain units are just not going to be able to, not even allowed to fire at certain toughnesses, and it will actually speed the game up. You've got 50 conscripts, the only target is a Land Raider, and then you are actually going to be able to fire at the Land Raider and try and bring some wounds off of it. And you're not going to damage it very much, but just the fact that they would all fire their las guns, I just don't think they would. It's just not very realistic. So I wish there was that cut-off point there. Maybe that's something they'll consider for a future edition. But see what you think in the comment section if you're in agreement about that rule. But with that cut-off point, I just think it makes it a lot easier, and you don't end up in situations where unrealistic things start to happen, where theoretically now a grot could take the last wound off of an Imperial Knight and bring it down. Not so sure about that. It should be, I think, a situation where once you reach a certain strength, you're at a certain strength and you reach a toughness that's high enough, you can't wound it, and I think that's more realistic. Anyway, that's that just there. I think these are all pretty much the same. I'm just going to pick out some parts from the rules here, just to keep things going. Charge phase. you choose unit to charge with, you choose your target. It's Overwatch. Overwatch is still here. 2d6 for your charge move, that's fine. Choose your target's Overwatch. Yeah, okay. Ah, right, okay. Just checking the rules here for Overwatch. You still need 6s to hit. Successful hit roll. Irrespective of ballistic skill. Okay. There's your charge move, 2d6. Fight phase, then choose unit to fight with. Piling up to 3 inches. So you're they're keeping the piling move here, 3 inches. Choose your targets. Choose targets, choose melee weapon. Resolve close combat attacks. You roll to hit, you roll to wound. Enemy allocates the wounds, fair enough. Enemy makes saving throws. Damage comes out, consolidate up to 3 inches. Right, okay, at the end of the fight. Interesting. So, you may move each model in the unit up to 3 inches. This move can be done in any direction, as long as each model, as the model ends, the move closer to the near it. Okay, so you have to pile in closer. Okay. Then you've got morale phase here right at the end. Now morale has changed, where you just remove models by however much you fail the morale test by, which is an interesting way of doing it. I did like the idea of models running off the table. It's realistic, but now you just lose models, and it's the theory is that it represents models that have ran away, given up. Here's an example of a turn, which can be helpful, just to get your head around the way the mechanics work. Interesting. So then you've got fighting a battle. So that's your core rules there for beginners. Pretty clear, and then it's covered in that basic data sheet that you get in with the box set as well. So you've got fighting a battle, you've got missions. Here's your warlord. Right, so I get the impression that they are streamlining things here. God, they really have streamlined stuff. So warlord traits used to be a set of 3 with 6 different roll-offs there. They've just said it's D3 warlord traits, like that. Legendary fighter. If this warlord charges in the charge phase, add 1 to the attack's characteristic until the end of the ensuing fight phase, which is hardly anything. For any units within 6 of this warlord can add 1 to their leadership, hardly anything. Tenacious survivor. Roll a dice each time this warlord loses a wound. On a 6, he shrugs off the damage. Hardly any bonuses there at all for warlord traits. Interesting. Interesting what they've chosen to do with that. Only war. Victory conditions. It's a dice roll here. Slay and secure. At the end of the battle, each objective marker is worth 2 victory points. The player controls it. Players also earn D3 victory points if the opposing army's warlord is slain. Next one's Ancient Relic. At the start of the first battle round, before the game begins, randomly select 1 objective marker. Remove the other objective markers from the battlefield. At the end of the battle, the remaining objective marker is worth 6 points. Interesting. Yeah, they've redone this domination. At the end of each turn, each objective marker is worth 1 victory point to the player who controls it. Right, so that's a nice spread of play. That's the 3 styles there. That's more information on open play. War without end. Okay, there's your missions. Annihilation. Hold at all costs. Death or Glory. Death or Glory, that's, we had a battle report, or named some battle reports, a scenario that we ran, Death or Glory as well. Okay. Narrative play. Mission rules. There's a lot of information here. Meat grinder. Crucible of War. Ambush. Right, some cool deployments here as well. Nice variety. Patrol. Another unique map. Blitz. It's like something out of Blood Bowl. Interesting. Sabotage. All unique missions and maps here. Rescue. Okay, cool. Historical battles. Alright, now they've included some echoes of war. Historic battles, ambush at Doric Pass. Interesting. There's an example of one. Then you've got match to play. So they've got your narrative Crucible War battles here, and then for matched play, which is all your points, organised events, giving you information there as well, battlefield size, game length, number of detachments. Interesting. Okay, choose a mission. So you've got Eternal War, Retrieval Mission, No Mercy, the Scouring, Big Guns Never Tire, Secure and Control, the Relic. Okay, so there's some ones from 7th carried over, probably changed slightly. Maelstrom of War Table, Cleanse and Capture, Contact Lost, Tactical Escalation, Spoils of War, Cloak and Shadows, Deadlock. Alright, okay, so that's all in there as well. Okay. Deployment maps. Oh, these are going to be interesting to mark out with dice here. So we have 6 of them. Spearhead Assault, Dawn of War, Search and Destroy, Hammer and Anvil is there, Frontline Assault, and the Vanguard Strike. Nice. I had previously mentioned in different reviews in the past for 7th to have more maps, and they've done it here. They've given you 6. Nice. Eternal War, Retrieval Mission, No Mercy. This is your layout we've been used to in 7th. Or you roll up your missions and you go to the entry, and then you read through your information for each of the missions just there. I'm sort of going through sort of a pace through the book. If I read through all of the rules and the missions here, this review would probably be about 20 hours long. So I'm just going to give you sort of a general review of the book here. Scouring is there, Big Guns Never Tire. You can imagine they're pretty much the same. Here, there is so much to learn. It's interesting, you can sort of sympathise with people. Got a lot of comments on the channel over time, and people saying it looks so complicated. How am I ever going to get into the game? And when you know the rules, you think, oh, it's not so bad. It's quite easy to pick up. But now this is all reset. I'm going to have to learn all of this stuff again, because there's changes all over the place. And so I'm in the same position as many of you watching here. It's a complete learning curve picking these rules up. So I've definitely got sympathy for people who are new to the game. So you can't learn by reading all of this. You just have to get involved. Find a decent club. SSWG as well. I film a lot of games there. James is a regular there. Brilliant wargaming club. Loads of 40k players. That's in Southend-on-Sea in the Essex area. You can check them out. But there'll be gaming clubs set up all over the country, in the UK, and then across the world as well. So just use the internet. I usually do just to search for clubs. Facebook as well. Or clubs have Facebook pages, have their own websites and so on. Or of course you've got your Games Workshop stores, which are a great place to get involved, and also other wargaming shops. Sometimes they'll have gaming tables set up, and they do 40k, and then the staff there, they also know about Warhammer 40,000, so they can help you out as well. And then if you find yourself in a situation where sometimes I get messages from people who have no access to any kind of wargaming club at all, then you can just find one person, a relative, a brother, an uncle, or someone you know, friend next door, friend at school. It just takes one more person, and then you've got a buddy that you can get involved in the hobby. And that's all you need, just the two of you can easily have just as much fun as you would at a big gaming club. So that's that. Secure and Control. The Relic is here. It's an interesting one. It's nice artwork here as well. So that's all your missions set up. Tactical objectives. Here. Whoa, okay, this is similar to 7th here with the Maelstrom of War. Okay. Maelstrom of War, Cleanse and Capture, Contact Lost, Tactical Escalation, Spoils of War, Cloak and Shadows, and Deadlock. Okay, so take it there'll be cards that come with all of this as well. Right, advanced draws. It's a good move. It's a good idea to do it. You can play your basic game, and then you've got all the depth as well. That if that's what you like, people who've been playing 7th, really into 40k, your advanced rules are there as well. So they're trying to cater for everyone here. So you've got advanced rules for different types of games: Planet Strike, Stronghold Assault, Death from the Skies. Okay. Cities of Death. So later in this section. Alright, okay. I'm just wondering if the older books are relevant. I don't think they are. Keeping the titles, but I don't think the old books are relevant. I don't think. I'll be wrong on that one. Yeah, if you know the answer to that, are the old expansions relevant? Because they contain like missions and stuff. Are they relevant in 8th? Or are they talking... I don't think the old books are relevant here. The overview of Cities of Death later in this section includes the rules you need to fight these claustrophobic battles. No, so I don't think so. Okay, Battle Forged Armies. So this is how you put an army together. That's your battlefield role. So you've got HQ, interesting. HQ troops, elites, fast attack, heavy support, dedicated transport as a separate slot. Okay, flyer is now in there. Fortifications, Lord of War. Yeah, a lot of things pulled together now that were sort of broken up in 7th. Restrictions, command benefits. Right. Okay. Stratagems, which is a new thing they've introduced. It gets you some rerolls and some slight bonuses. You use up your stratagem points as you need during the game. So a patrol detachment, the minimum you need for that is 1 HQ and 1 troop, and then the rest is another HQ optional, up to 2 more troops, 2 elites, 2 fast attack, 2 heavy support, and 2 flyers optional. Dedicated transports, you can take loads of them, it's not going to be a problem. So that's still a decent sized army you could get for a patrol detachment. No command benefits, and they've got to be from the same faction. So it's detachment, they're keeping detachments here. So that's a detachment. Then you've got a battalion detachment in size. I think this is a blanket rule that applies to all the factions. You have to take 2 HQs, you have to take 3 troops. The options are 2 to 3 HQs. That's interesting here for my orcs. You can take up to 3 HQs here. Up 6 troops, 0 to 6 elites, up to 3 fast attack, 3 heavy support, and 2 flyers. Okay, so it's pretty flexible, pretty sensible. And then Brigade is big, potentially big. You have to take 6 troops. So I can imagine a number of people are going to try and do this for 1850, 2000 point games to try and take advantage of the +9 command points. That's triple the amount of command points you get for a battalion. You have to take 6 troops, so you go for 6 small troop options. You have to take 3 HQs, you have to take 3 elites, 3 fast attack, 3 heavy support. It's doable, you don't have to take flyers. So I know it's doable for 1850, 2000 points. And if you do, you get a nice load of command points. Let's see what you get here. So 1 command point, say you got 9, 1 command point, you can re-roll any single dice. Potentially handy. Counter-offensives, 2 points you can use right after an enemy unit is charged. Select one of your own eligible units and fight with it next. In case you can interrupt the fight phase. Insane Bravery, which could be really game changing. You can automatically 2 points. You can automatically pass a single morale test. Ooh, helpful. Adds an interesting dynamic to the game, knowing you're playing against someone, you know your opponent's got these points to burn up to get them out of trouble. So interesting. Okay, so we're actually on page 243 now, so there's not too much left in the book to go. Ah, another 3. This is interesting. A Vanguard Detachment. Oh, right. Okay. So in 7th, all of those formations, it sort of overloaded, like Windows. You get your Windows computer, and then you get all the updates coming on, and it starts to clog your computer up with all this stuff, and it all slows down. Formations were like that with 7th edition. It was just one formation after another, and it was just like an arms race going on. And some codexes got left behind. Orcs just got nothing. And then other factions like Space Marines and Eldar just had amazing formations, and looking back, it wasn't fair really, and it's just formations all over the place. But now what they've done is that they're all here. So the shadow of formations is still here. They've kept it as detachments. That's that flexibility to build a themed army is still here, even within matched play and so on. So Vanguard Detachment here is 1 HQ compulsory, and you have to take 3 elites. And the rest is optional. Cool, you only get 1 command point for that one. Then a Spearhead Detachment is 1 HQ and 3 heavy support. So you can bolt that on, you know, to another detachment, a regular attachment for example. You want some more heavies, you can take a Spearhead Detachment. Only 1 command point for that. An Outrider Detachment here, you have to take 1 HQ and 3 fast. Okay, interesting. This is good because the different army styles that I have, the different factions, can pretty much means that I can keep them to the general theme that they are already at. A Supreme Command Detachment. You have to take 3 HQs, you get 1 command point for that. Interesting. A Super Heavy Detachment is plus 3 command points. It's 3 Lords of War, so there's your Imperial Knights there. A Super Heavy Auxiliary Detachment, there's your single Lord of War, so that helps my Skitarii out that take the single Imperial Knight. There's no benefits, but it means you can do it. This is cool. Oh, well, look at this. Oh. This is great. Okay, interesting. An Air Wing Detachment, 3 flyers, get 1 command point for that. Fortification Network, 1 fortification, up to 2 more, no benefits. Auxiliary Support Detachment, can only be a single unit. -1 command point. Okay, so if you really want to go for a certain combination, you have to have it that way, then you can just add in a single unit detachment here of any of those types. Interesting. Still, the flexibility is there for you to do pretty much anything you want. Pretty much. But it's -1 command point here, so you're losing some tactical ability. Lose 1 command point for each auxiliary. Okay. So I can see the appeal for people to go for multiple small units, like Dark Eldar, small units, and you get your 6 troops, and that cracks open 9 command points. It would give you a pretty good edge there. I don't think it's impossible. 3 HQs, you go for some nice cheap HQs, easily fill that out. 3 elites is what a lot of armies have anyway. 3 fast, 3 heavy is pretty much what armies have anyway. So the Brigade, I think there will be an appeal to that for sure. But so too will be the Super Heavy Detachment here. 3 command points for that. Air Wings, pretty cool. Okay, so moving along, that's how you're going to structure and build your army. Battlefield terrain. It's covered here with the rules. Covered craters, barricades, fuel pipes, Imperial statuary, Abonti leadership, if you've ever been. Battlescape. Okay. Hills. Here. Scratch built terrain. Okay, cool. Covered. Battle zones. This is interesting. As long as you, let's see what it says here. As long as you and your opponent agree, any Warhammer 40,000 battle can use battle zone rules. Okay. They are optional, but battle zone rules allow you to recreate battles fought in all manner of otherworldly environments, such as the depths of hive cities on asteroids hurtling through space, or even amidst the madness of worlds lost to the power of chaos. Each battle zone. Alright, so they got into this in the Fall of Cadia campaign, introducing effects on the battle like psychic storms and stuff going on. Each battle zone introduces new rules to your missions to represent the battlefield conditions of these varied worlds. They might change the core rules, for example, by altering how psychic powers work. They can provide new rules for things like living terrain or tectonic activity, and may grant additional abilities to certain units. Okay. Okay, so if you want to add a nice theme to your battle, this isn't really for beginners though. This is things you can add on once you've got used to doing. The rules is Planet Strike. Okay. Alright, so there's your rules for that. Again, if you want to theme a battle, Planet 4, there's an example of Panic Strike mission. Cities of Death. Right, so instead of each of these books that you have to buy, it's just all in here. They've kept these, that's cool. They haven't just got rid of all of these and other books. They've stripped out and kept the simplified rules section for each of these, so you can do some nice strong narrative games. Yeah, Cities of Death covered there. There's your extra rules for that, and they've given an example of a battle just there. Stronghold Assault as well. You bear this in mind for things like our Apocalypse games and stuff. They've got actual dedicated rules for this kind of thing. Cool. Yeah, and then Bunker Assault. There's an example of a mission. This is all good here. This is nice. Death from the Skies. Interesting. Okay, Flyers. They're keeping the dogfight phase. Okay. So what they're doing here is they haven't forced this into regular 40k. This is, you add this on if you want to. I think that's good. They've done that. So the rules are there if you want them. If you want to play Death from the Skies. Yeah, I think this is how it works. And then, but you don't have to play a Death from the Skies mission. Death from the Skies missions use the following additional rules. Alright, so you can say, right, do you want to play Death from the Skies? So yeah, so then you're just going to add in these extra rules to your game. There's an example of one just there. Okay. Multiplayer battles. Alright, okay, yeah, so they're catering for you down at the club. There's 4 of you, each of you's brought 1,000 points. The different factions, what do we do? They've given you a setup here where you can do player A, B, C and D. Yeah, okay. Campaigns is all laid out for you here as well. Yep, just there. So, okay, cool, nice piece of artwork here towards the end. Nice. An appendix. Here it's just some more information. Have humans index just there. Right, okay, so you can look up all your stuff. And then your rules summary sheet isn't in here, it's in the detachable sheet that you get, the fold up sheet that comes in with the Dark Imperium set. So I was coming towards the back of this book looking for universal special rules, and they're not here. That is because they're in, books are in indexes now, codexes really, but they're index books as they call them. And then now in the profiles that you get, all your rules are within the profile, so you can just see. One of the things they've gone for here, I think, is what takes time in the game, what slows the game down. And you're not going to notice this in all different types of rules and different phases going on. What slows the game down? Can we get rid of that? Or how can we streamline it or add it into something else to speed things up? So remember, you're looking up the rules. What's the rules for Jink? I can't remember. What page is it? You have to flick through to try and find the page, you read through it, and then it did slow things down. But now, your rules are there with the profile for your units. Your Space Marines, there's your rules written out, tells you what the rules are, and then you can just refer to it. All the stats and the rules are there in your book. You don't have to keep referring back to the rule book. There, and that's significantly shortened the rules. The basic rules then is the main rules, and then these advanced rules really are for expansion of missions and detachments and so on. So, as I said earlier on, it's a significant refresh of Warhammer 40,000. I'm not going to underestimate it here. This is a fair amount of changes taking place, but not so it's unrecognisable. It's not to the extent that it's changed the 40k that we all knew in 6th and 7th edition. A lot of the remnant of that is still there. As to the rules, there are some changes not so keen on. I've heard that flyers, you can fire at them at regular ballistic skill was one of the things that was picked out. I'm not so sure about that. Vehicles can assault, can see the reasoning behind it. Instead of tank shock, I think it's replacing tanks can now assault in combat, but no, not so sure about that one. And then anything can wound anything. Not so sure about that. And then also the also the wounds. Tons and tons of wounds for certain units. Now you've got to try and keep track of the wounds. Not so sure about that either. So those are some of the misgivings I have, but I'm not going to say final judgment for sure. You're only going to see how well it works when you actually get some games done and actually see it play out in the game. And it's only fair to play some games and then see how it works out. There are some great. It looks like the rules have been streamlined. All of the mess and different publications that were there that clogged up 7th edition towards the end, that's all gone now. So there's a lot of excitement with the refresh for 8th edition. This rulebook is exceptionally well put together. You've got everything you need inside here. They haven't neglected or got rid of other compendiums that came out. They've taken the good bits, summarised them, and then put them all in here as well. So everything's inside this book. So really, really good. Indeed. And then what they've done, the codexes are away, and then all the factions have been brought up to the same level, which I think was a good move. Imagine the older codexes were still relevant, and then you just get the same problem again of the new codex being the best, and then you just have to, some factions have to wait ages for their turn to come. But now all the factions brought up, so it's a level playing field. It's a fresh start for everybody, and then we've reflected that on the channel here. All results, we're just going to reset to 0, so all the factions now have a chance to try and reach the top. They don't have to battle up and try and, or battle through and try and get to the very top and try and recuperate all the defeats they've had. It's now just a fresh start for everybody. So you may see Imperial Guard at the top. You never know. You could see Eldar at the bottom, but we'll see. It'll be interesting to see which factions begin to dominate. So it's been said that everything's on the same level, but there's no doubt some units, some factions are going to be better than others. But I don't think it's going to be by too much of a degree, but we'll definitely start to see some factions becoming the stronger ones. So that's the review of the rulebook here. Keep a lookout for reviews of the index books. Plan to do those just like regular codex reviews, because the rules have changed for all of the units to a lesser or greater degree, so really they do need to be redone. I'll do those codex reviews or index reviews like as if I'm going to collect them, what units I think will do well, what units not so good, what weapons are good, which are the new, which are the ones to look out for that are good, and then how I build an army together. And I'll talk about either how I'm going to change the army that I have. I currently have that army, or if theoretically if I was going to collect them, what I'd sort of go for as well. Keep a look out for those reviews as well coming up in the future, all being well. But that's a review here for 8th edition. It is exciting. A lot of unknowns at the moment. Be interesting to see how 8th edition pans out. On the channel you can expect to see the last of our 7th edition battle reports coming out, so it's sad really to see those coming along. It's the end of an era for 7th edition, and then gradually you're going to see reviews coming out for the different 8th edition products, and then small games, 1,000 points, something like that, for 8th edition, and then quite quickly hopefully we'll get into regular 8th edition battle reports. And then you're going to see the armies being revamped as well, and then all this taking place on both of the channels. So here on the regular channel you can expect just the usual format, and then on the Plus channel as well, then there'll be whole loads of stuff for 8th edition as well. So exciting times ahead. But leave your comments and feedback about 8th edition, what you think of the new release, this rulebook, and then the Dark Imperium set that came out, and then just to discuss what rules changes you think are really good. Just leave out the mediocre stuff. Rules that stand out, you think that is a brilliant change, and then rules that you think are not so good, leave that in the comments section as well. It'll be fascinating to read your comments and feedback at the end of this video, and it'll be a great platform for discussion as well. So that's the review here for Warhammer 40,000 8th edition. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.